back.
Am I
That's your line.
So people are going to be wondering, you haven't clicked on the wrong channel or anything. We've added a new show to our channel. So the Bush League podcast channel is now called the Bush League. And we have two shows now on the Bush League, the Bush League podcast and the Bush League hockey podcast. I know what you're all thinking. We're real creative with the names. So my voice would be familiar to people that already subscribe to this channel. So would Jeremy's. But we'd like to introduce Phil Sutherland. He's going to be joining us on the hockey podcast on a pretty regular basis. And moving forward, we're hoping we're going to land more and more guests and have guest spots and everything as we go over the world of hockey, hopefully on a weekly basis. Hey, fellas?
Hopefully.
10-4.
Jeremy nodded for like 5 seconds as if they can hear him nod if they're driving in the car. You know what I mean? Like he's...
Yeah. Great radio right now. Great radio.
Well, I was going to say, too, I would describe how we know Phil, but that'd take like...
Oh, boy.
A long time.
That's a whole season.
That is, that's fair enough. Yeah, but here we are.
Just don't worry about it. He's here and he's going to talk about hockey.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think.
Oh dear. So
we were talking a little bit off air here before we started. We got a couple topics we want to talk about this week, but front and center, I guess we want to talk about Connor McDavid's 3-game suspension.
Yeah.
Does anyone else feel like this has been a huge deal, like way bigger than?
Are you trying to say, Jeremy, that everyone's freaking out that Connor McDavid got 3 games after he cross-checked a dude in the face? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I just was, I mean, obviously we're talking about it, but like the amount of like, I've seen like ex-hockey players taking to social media to talk about defending our superstars and this and that and the other thing. And there's like, I was listening to NHL Network Radio today and like, they're still dissecting this and it's like, man, he's already,
it's getting a lot of airplay.
Well, and then after tonight, I think he's going to have 2 of his 3 games served. And it's like, we're still talking about it, I mean, he had a suspension in 2019. He probably would have got 2 games if not for that. It's a stick to a guy's head. Now, you could get into like leading up to that whole incident with Connor Garland.
That's it.
They only show the part where McDavid starts on top of him and then the clip sort of rolls from there. But like, you don't really see the instigating that goes on before.
I think if you're an Oilers fan, to be fair, and while I am biased as all get out towards the Leafs, I'm going to make my best attempt on this to not be, right? But I'm trying to imagine if I'm watching a game and it's Austin Matthews and they hit him and pulled him down and hit him and didn't call a high stick and slashed him and pulled him down and hit him again. Then he comes up and like carelessly cross-checks a guy back finally. And he gets 3 games, but nothing on the officials for not calling 1, 2, 3, arguably 4 missed calls. Yeah, I'd be a little upset.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you had a blew the whistle a full minute 30 before that, like it was quite the lengthy, like how long are you going to let this go? Right?
Some more game management there.
Yeah. So it's one of those deals where you're not allowed to do that. You know what I mean? But I picture like, so I'm a teacher, by trade, and we were having this conversation today after, like, I can't comment on anything, you know how it is, but like one kid fights another kid and the other kid doesn't want to fight back. Like you can tell he doesn't want to fight back. It's on the video. He's backing up.
Yeah.
And then after the 5th or 6th thing, he just lays a tuning on the other kid that he didn't want to fight. Well, how much trouble should he be in? Like, he took it, and then went off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
I got no problems with the suspension. It's the length of the suspension. Because there's going back to the Leafs, there's a comparable. Austin Matthews a couple of years ago did the same thing to Dahlin, and he got 2 games suspension.
Did.
So that's
very similar looking.
So
I think the only thing with that, is that I forgot this, but he was suspended once before in 2019.
And I forgot that too, man. I had to go look.
Yeah, so I think that's why he got the extra game. I think if it wasn't for that, he probably would have got 2.
The first one, I'm not trying to be an idiot, but it's not like it was real memorable. Like 2019, 2020 was quite the year. Do you know what I mean? For all of us. And I didn't even recall that he had a previous suspension. I didn't remember that at all, but he did. And the second I read that, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Like, I didn't even...
I thought after 4 years...
Like, it was in the back of my mind somewhere, but...
I could be wrong on this, but I thought after 4 years, they remove, like, those off the record. And, like what they do with, like, 7 years of the driver's abstract.
That, I'm not sure.
I thought there was some clause in there with the current CBA, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But I thought there was.
Phil, that sounds familiar.
But it might be 5 years, too, with it being... If that actually did play a part in it. But I don't know if it did or not. I never heard what came in from
Interesting.
the league, right? So
that would make sense, man, because it's not like some of these repeat offenders we see that they somehow get a game or 2 every year.
Yeah.
It's Connor McDavid, right? Like, it was the same as...
So,
you know, I'm not trying to go back to the Leafs. I think of when Austin Matthews got his, because they're 2 similar caliber players, sort of. Like, they're on that upper echelon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, it's big news when they get suspended, and it's not big news when Reeves gets suspended, or Olivier gets suspended, or Rempe gets suspended, because everyone expects them to get suspended.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, like, I don't know. It's
I saw a quote from...
go ahead, Jay.
What? Oh, I was just going to say I thought it was a good quote from Sidney Crosby, a guy who's been, he's been known to have a guy hang off him there.
A few,
2 or 3.
Yeah. He says, you probably didn't see the 9 hits that Connor took. Those are the ones that never make the highlights. When you retaliate, you make the highlights, which is a really, that's what it is.
It is, that is very true, man. And that was kind of our point, right? Like, it's... So I'm trying to look up the Oilers...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Phil, go ahead, bud.
No, I was going to say, I bet you know what, though? I bet you the next guy that tries to clutch and grab him might think twice about it, because now they know that wire might cross.
You got her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Connor doesn't want to get suspended again, right? So...
the Oilers released a statement, and I was kind of surprised at their... Well, a little bit. We can analyze this one a little bit. But the Oilers organization is disappointed, and we share in our fans' frustration over the 3-game suspension of our captain, Connor McDavid. We support him through this process, and the organization and our fans look forward to having him back in the lineup versus Seattle next week.
Yeah, I didn't understand putting that out.
Me neither.
I don't know what they're trying to say with that.
That's why I brought it up, because I don't get it either. Like, you could have just left it alone.
Like,
but the kind of outwardly, you're calling out player safety without calling out player safety. So you got plausible, like, oh, no, I didn't. I just said we're frustrated. I didn't say we're...
Yeah, but it's like, exactly. And it's like, well, then why did you put the statement out if you didn't actually want to address anything? You know,
pretty
like...
tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
It's just like...
It's political for getting your dig in without trying to get your dig in. Yeah, like it's...
But yet they didn't commit to the dig, so it just made it... To me, it was like, it looked dumb. Like, anyway.
Yeah. I know.
But, yeah, overall, like, I agree. Like, I'm okay with the suspension. It's a stick that went to the head. And you get suspended for that. But it is the refs. I think it's that allowed it to get to that situation, and it could have been managed better.
I don't want to be that guy, but it's not as if player safety in the NHL has been super consistent over the last 3 years. But when I looked at that hit outside of all the plays before it, and like Crosby said, talking about it, looking at that hit by itself, I said out loud to one of the boys, like, yeah, he's going to get 3 to 5 games. Without any previous history, just like my gut reaction was 2 hands on his stick to the guy's head. He's getting 3 to 5 games. You know what I mean? And so then after I had more time to think about it, even though like I didn't go with my gut, it was like, oh, well, did you see all, Connor Garland was all over him and there was a bunch of stuff. But and I was like, yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like I'm not upset either over the actual, if you isolate that hit and it's a hit to the head, it's 3 games. I have no problems with the suspension either. I think an actual hard look and a hard talk is going to have to be on officiating before it ever gets out of control like that, so that someone retaliates, finally loses their cool or retaliates back, or you know what I mean? Like that's getting that was a lot before he retaliated and did something back. He took a lot. It wasn't a little. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like what's your line? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
what are your thoughts on I just we didn't say we were going to talk. I honestly want your thoughts on like referee accountability. Like, should there be a report or should there have to be a thing? Like, if they got a big talking to after the game, like, boys, you lost control of that one. Should we be allowed to know that? So should there be some sort of report of like a referee's report of, we did miss a call yesterday?
Yeah, there's been a lot of outcry for that lately.
You know what I mean? Like just some clarity. Like in some calls, it's like a careful what you wish for. And then I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it, because if you're going to start reporting on all the missed calls, well, sometimes we enjoy it when they're letting stuff go. Like who doesn't enjoy a game where it's like, oh man, they let that go. Oh, but now they let that, so they're letting her go both ways, as long as they're letting them play. You know what I mean? Well, what are they going to do? Report the next night on 24 missed holding calls? Like what are they going to do?
I was listening to a radio show one time, and it was one of the insiders. I don't know if it was TSN or Sportsnet or whoever, but it was one of the insiders. And they were talking actually kind of about this. And they said actually the NHL really strictly monitors the refereeing and how consistent they are. And he said oftentimes, like, they travel a lot. He said he's seen himself in airports and stuff. And you'd see a referee sitting across like the terminal, and he'd have his laptop right there going over plays from the game he ref the night before, and there'd be like an email open with all the critiques and all that stuff, and like so, and apparently like they get suspensions, they lose pay, all that kind of stuff too. Whenever they're
but they don't report it.
They don't report it, and that's within their CBA, I guess. It's not doesn't have to be public knowledge, I guess.
Can you imagine? Like that's modern times, right? Can you imagine that practice, Jay, now if Carey Fraser was still reffing?
Gretzky call.
Oh, man, that dude missed some... I was watching some clips of him the other night, though, and it wasn't even getting ready for this. I just went down the rabbit hole, because not only the Gretzky... Do you guys remember Mario Lemieux losing his ever-loving mind at Carey Fraser and leaving the penalty box and everything, and he got tossed?
Okay.
You need to look up that. I forgot all about it. And then it was like, whatever Carey said to him, he lost it. He just went off. It's completely worth the look.
Carey went off at Mario?
Mario went off at Carey. Like he had to be held back. Oh, yeah.
So it was like almost Cujo level then. Going at
almost. Yeah, he didn't take him down. But
was that his name?
Yeah. Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah, when I was a kid, the only one I liked was McCleary. Seemed to ref a good game, and everybody else, it's like, if I get to know the refs, it's probably a bad sign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I get to know your names, it's probably not good.
Yeah, I've heard the idea before to make refs available after games. I think there's other leagues that do that.
Yeah, I think the NBA does. Was it the 2-minute report they call it?
Yeah,
that's right. Yes, they do.
So I like that idea. I mean, we get to speak to players about media gets to speak to players about certain things. I think I think it'd be good if the refs would, have to be accountable for some of their decisions. I mean, it's tough because like you don't want a guy like it's such a tough job. I get, it's a judgment thing. It's really hard. It's hard to see it in real time and all that.
Oh man, yeah. No, I wouldn't want to do it.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's more like it's more the stuff that like after they get together and talk and they look at a replay and then they come to a conclusion and you still like think it's clearly wrong. Maybe stuff like that. You could say, so why did you, why? Like,
Yeah,
well, there's
you know,
some
to
stuff
see
like
what they seen, because obviously we're
Yeah.
not seeing it, right?
Right.
well, and you know how there's some cut and dry. I've seen games where they could call roughing, but they let them go because it would be on both, and they could call holding because it's going two ways, right? But then a guy high sticks another guy in the face. It's like, nope, that's their line. Like like I'm calling the high stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'm calling the delay a game because I have to. But I'll let a little roughing go and I'll let a little holding go and I'll minus a fight or a purposeful kneeing or something like that. Like we're letting it go.
What
but high
happens?
stick.
What happens
You
when
know.
you grab the opposite goaltender stick? Did you see that the other night?
Yeah.
I was on a mission today about how hard would it be to get that same goalie stick and get Austin Matthews to sign it. I think that's hilarious.
I opened, he was standing there.
I opened Twitter and I saw this picture of him in front of the net there with the goalie stick two-handed. I'm like, what am I looking at? What is going on here?
First of all, and because Matthew said, like, I guess I need to reread the rule book and all this stuff. First of all, it is a rule. He can't take off with the goalie stick. Now, what never happens, like you can't pick up that stick. You can't pick up somebody else's stick and play with it.
No, it has to be given to
you.
You
know what I mean? Like if it was any other Columbus player, he can't do that. It has to be a teammate stick, right? So like the second he did that, it doesn't matter that it's the goalie stick, but it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, they blew the whistle and called Matthews on it right away, right? And it wasn't until they convened at center ice that the other ref had to go to him and go, well, Elvis has his stick. So,
yeah. So that was even the better part. So they both got penalties.
Because it was like, it wasn't even like, Phil, you saw it. So it was like he took it from Matthews. But at the same time,
almost like
they had kind of bumped into each other and it was a bit of an exchange. And they're lucky they didn't call goalie interference if there had, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But he was kind of forced in. But then it was almost like you could see this moment, Jay, in like 0.5 of a second, where Ms. Lurkins looks down, realizes what he has, flips it over, and I guess I'm playing with it. But it's Matthews' stick. But they didn't blow the whistle there. They waited till Matthews had no stick and went, what do I do? What do I do?
Then he picks up.
I guess I'll pick this up.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Now, if he had scored with that and they had to call it back, that would have been the funniest clip.
That would have been funny, yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so Ovie is 20 goals away as of this posting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rooting for him.
I am too.
I hope he gets it.
I'm not.
No?
I
always a contrarian.
Well, no, it's Jay, I think you'll know what I mean. I kind of talked to Phil about this, like 2 weeks ago. But I almost feel like, do you guys remember when we used to watch UFC all the time and GSP would put on the most boring fight you've ever seen in your entire life? But you know what? It was within the rules and he won. That's how I feel about Ovie breaking this record. It's exciting to see in a way, no matter who breaks it, because it's pretty cool. That is a record we thought would never be broken.
Mm-hmm.
So on that end of it, yeah, I'm enjoying, is someone actually going to break this record? On the other end of it, like most of your goals are power play goals from the exact same spot over and over and over again. Like, no, your tape's not skipping. It's a different goal from the same spot. And then like an insane amount of empty netters.
Yeah, he's most all time, I think.
In empty net goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that
insane.
Gretzky?
No,
doesn't Gretzky have?
Nope.
Is it Ovie?
I'm pretty sure it's Ovie. You looking that up, Jay? Looks like you are.
I looked it up. I have them all up in front of me, boys. Do you want to know them by season? The most Gretzky ever had in a season was 6.
Okay.
He had 6 empty net goals in 3 different seasons.
Oh, look at that. Well, here, look.
Every other season he's played, he had less than that, including several seasons where he just had 1.
Ovechkin has 62. Wayne Gretzky is second with 56.
There you go. No, I thought I heard the other day that he had the most all time.
Yeah, well, he would have gotten it.
I've heard some people defend that though too, recently. And I can't. I've heard some good people like ways they defended it, and I can't think of them there right now. But
like
one of them was Bruce Booger.
Number one,
he coached them, right? And
but at one point when he was in the Rocket race, they were setting him up for empty netters. They were throwing him on the ice.
Yeah.
Because they wanted him to have the scoring title that year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's almost the talk of like, while it's legitimate, like the GSP fight example I gave you, it's like, it's within the rules. It's a goal. He's scoring. Part of you is like, dude, the guy you're only 2 ahead of has like 1 empty net goal. You have 9.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And you're racing for the Rocket. You have 9 empty net goals. So then like at the end of this, while he's only like, how many is he up on Gretzky? Like 8 empty net goals.
Yeah.
So he has 8 more empty net goals now than Gretzky, while he's still 20 goals back of the record.
Yeah, exactly.
But he has 8 more empty netters, and he's probably going to get 1, 2, 3 more empty net goals this year because they're setting him up for they're trying to get him there. So by the time he does that, it's like, yep, you beat Gretzky. You're 1 goal ahead of Gretzky, and you have 10 more empty net goals than he does, and way more power play goals than he does. You know what I mean? That's my only asterisk. It doesn't make it any less of an accomplishment. Like, holy crap. I never thought anybody would beat that record.
No.
So he still did it. And to stay healthy that long and play that many seasons and to still be scoring at a pace like he's scoring.
Exactly.
Empty net goals or not, it is impressive.
And no one really knows how old he is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah.
And
I think the one
asterisk for him going the other way. Sorry, Jay, but an asterisk going for him the other way is the lockout year.
Exactly. He went through a year.
He missed a year.
I think. He missed a full year, and like it was early in his career, and then they had that half a year that they were.
He had an eligible year where he didn't get to play, and then another half year because of COVID that he didn't get to play.
Yeah, but
and now here he is about to break Gretzky's record. Like that's impressive.
Was it 20? What year did they lock the players out until just after Christmas? 2013?
They're 2 half years.
Yeah.
2 half years.
So he's gone through that as well.
But you're right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That was...
and that was all CBA stuff.
That was almost a full lockout year. They had a shortened season.
Or was that 14, 15? It was somewhere in that area.
I think it's earlier than that, man.
Yeah, 2012, 13.
Right.
So...
Yeah, because I remember Mikhail's little video went viral. They were calling out Bettman. Yahoo Sports had posted Mikhail calling Bettman a bad man, and I had to give this quote for this article on Yahoo.
That's funny.
The only thing I can't find it. I tried to find it. That's so impressive about Ovechkin is his pace of scoring has remained consistent.
Yes.
Across his whole career.
Yeah.
Gretzky got the bulk of his in the glory years.
Yes,
you know, with the Oilers, and he kind of petered off as.
But can I be honest, career. Jay? As most players do.
Right. And to me, what makes it so impressive about Ovechkin is that. Plus, it's kind of, you touched on it earlier, but like, we all know what he's going to do. And he still scores.
And they're still not stopping him. He's still doing it.
That everyone knows what that Washington power play is. They know where he stands.
So you're not wrong. That goes 2 ways. I can growl about that being boring, and then it's like, well, but how is he still doing it when you know where he's going to be? And he's still scoring.
He's a freak.
Yeah. It's
I think he has the record too for the most 40-goal seasons in a career, if I'm not mistaken. Or he has the most.
I know he officially has the most consecutive 20.
Yeah, he just got
Nobody has ever, but he might have the most 40 too.
Sorry, the one last stat I wanted to point out that I do think is worth mentioning for Gretzky if you're on Gretzky's side. From what I can see here, Gretzky had 5,088 shots in his career. Now, I don't know how accurate all that stuff
Probably
was
pretty
back in the
accurate.
day. But if they're saying there's 5,088, now Ovechkin, in contrast, at this point in his career, has 6,739 shots. He leads the next most player, which is Sidney Crosby, who has 4,200.
Holy damn.
So his shooting percentage is quite a bit lower than Gretzky, and he's gotten there on volume. And now again, I am all for this record to be broken. It's kind of like
I think
it's kind of like that
closer though too, because you got to keep in mind Crosby went through all that concussion problem too, right? So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he'd probably be closer if he had a healthealtr career. That was one thing about Ovie, man.
That's the only
came
asterisk
back
on
40
that.
days.
Right?
Yeah, that's insane.
And the other thing about
That
Ovie
is
too that we
insane.
didn't touch on is man, like how heavy of a game he plays, especially in his younger days. Like man, he was a wrecking ball.
Heavy hitter.
Yeah, he put a guy through boards.
Heavy hitter.
Man, he still hits, just not as often.
Yeah, he just picks and chooses.
And when he hits hard.
Oh man, he's heavy for sure.
Yeah. But it's more or less for me, it's like, like that eclipse that happened last year. It was like a once and whatever. It's like, I don't know how, like, if you look at active players, like Austin Matthews would have the best shot. And I think if you look at his pace, if he was to remain healthy and kind of do the same thing Ovechkin did, and that's produce consistently later into his career, I think he had a shot at it. I don't know about McDavid. He probably doesn't, but Matthews might have a shot if he stays, but he has to be like Ovechkin level consistent, hitting 40 goal seasons at least for like the next.
So Matthews has played. How long has Matthews been in the league now? 8 years, 9 years, something like that. Anyways,
8.
He, I believe his goals per game through his career, and then if you parallel it with Ovie's, Matthews is actually ahead of him at this point of both of their careers.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that stat. He's actually ahead of Ovie technically for the point in
and at
career
that time, Ovie was the best goals per game goal scorer in the history of the league.
Ever.
Yeah. And so now Matthews has surpassed him. So now they're saying Matthews is just based on that stat.
If he can stay healthy 10 years from now, you're looking at stats like, oh man, maybe this is
If Matthews can go like a 20-year career and stay relatively healthy for the rest of it, he has a legit chance of catching.
But man, that is so unlikely to me. Like we just got done talking about how much of a beast Ovie is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And like he looks phenomenal. Like he's in such good shape. He's still just as fast as ever.
Yep.
I don't find he's slowed down at all.
No. Crosby's in the same boat, man. Like they're both in that same.
Yeah, I don't know how they're doing it. Yeah,
and Crosby's still a tank out there.
Like I don't mean that Matthews can't do it. I just think it's so.
It's
longevity. I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it.
No, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But like whatever this is that's bothering him. Like he's had this back issue now. I think it is a back issue. That's what they suspect. And then he had the wrist issue a couple of years ago. Like it does prove that he can play through whatever he's dealing with at times, right? But at the same time, when he's on fire, man, he's on fire.
Oh man, I think he's got
over the course of 2
goals
seasons
in the last 8 games or something since he's come back.
9 games, I believe. But like, what was it? 52 and 52 goals in 54 games over the course of 2 seasons. There when he did the 69, like it was wild.
Yeah, he goes on these streaks. Yeah, no, that happens pretty regularly. Now, the only other Gretzky, to put an asterisk on Gretzky when this is all said and done, I know you guys will know what I mean, and then we got something else we got to talk about too. I don't know his assists record is foolish.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh,
the most 100.
Oh yeah.
Check out the most 100 assist seasons in history. There's like only 12. It's only happened like 12 or 13 times, and Gretzky's 9.
Now, yeah.
Do I think McDavid could someday? with a long career, catch Gretzky's but
he's
that's
only
a
done 100
maybe.
assists once. He's only done it once, and he's already this far in his career.
But again, longevity and
exactly.
like
So to give you,
it's the
so
same as-
I'm looking at a
Matthews and
cool
Ovie.
stat here. So I'm looking at assists per game, goals per game, all that stuff, like all time. Minimum 200 goals all time. Wayne Gretzky was at 1.32 assists per game, not points, assists per game. And McDavid is currently at 1.
No, there you go. That's a big gap.
But
that's
can I just put a point in Gretzky's column? So number one, the assists, and if anyone ever catches them, it's, you know what I mean? But the fact that at one point Gretzky had 20-some records and they're starting to fall, but the records aren't falling to one player.
Yeah,
it's true. Right?
You know what I mean? It's like this player beat this record, and Ovie is going to beat the goal record, and we don't know if anyone will ever touch the assist record. And this player beat the,
but
you know what I mean? And then
same
someday, 50 years from now, you look at all the top threes ever, and it's like Gretzky's still first, Gretzky second, Gretzky second, Gretzky third, Gretzky second, in all these different columns.
Yeah.
While you have all these different players in the, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty wild.
But at the same time,
yeah.
And I'm going to break away from hockey just for a second and go to music, where the three of us are musicians. But you'll see where I'm going here with this. Like back in the day, like there was only like one good drummer, there was only one good guitar player, only one good bass player. And then you go on YouTube now and see all these kids coming up, and they're doing everything that these guys couldn't even dream of doing, right? So same thing's happening with the sports.
I know where you're going
right?
with it.
And that's why we're starting to see like McDavid, McKinnon, all these superstars across the league. Like every team has at least one guy, right? Where
and they were
the
inspired by guys.
Yeah.
And now those guys are inspiring. Well, man, my own kid. So like you guys saw, Jeremy was in the air, but the rink is finally almost there. But Maddox went out and skated tonight on the rink for the first time because it's been horrible.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And what's he out there doing? Trying to Michigan. You know what I mean? And it's like when I was a kid, what the heck's a Michigan? I don't know what that is.
Did you go out and yell at him to not do that? Be like a good player, a good Canadian boy, not be doing tricks like that?
No. He's all the stuff he's doing with a stick is blatantly inspired by American hockey players. Like it is.
Yeah, that's true. Eh?
It's true.
You know what I mean? It's
Trevor
Zegras and Matthews
even tried to do that.
Yeah, that was, man, he was quick with that. That would have been quite the,
But like the goalies even know how to play it now, right? Like you see them when they come across the ice, like their shoulders right up in that corner.
Oh, he just hugged that post for everything he was worth. Yeah. And Matthews didn't plan it. It was a rolling puck, and it was like this spontaneous.
It got on his blade, and he just like, I'm going for it. So
yeah, like why would you not? Like I couldn't even think that quick. So.
I just wanted, a couple points on this whole like the chasing records and stuff. I think the Gretzky goals one is the only one that is possible to beat. His career points per game is 1.92, and Connor McDavid is 1.5.
Is he the next?
As
so
good
crazy.
as McDavid is, right? He's not gonna. No one's gonna. I don't think the points record will ever be broken. The one guy who had a chance to do it was Mario Lemieux, whose shorter career was 1.88.
1.88, yes, sir. So does that put McDavid third, does it? Or is there...
He is third, yeah. It goes Gretzky, Lemieux, McDavid, Bossy, Bobby Orr, Marcel Dion, Peter Stastny, Peter Forsberg, then Sidney Crosby, and that's pretty low.
Can I just...
I figured Draisaitl would be there, too.
And I don't want to go off on a tangent here because we got other stuff to talk about, and we're already getting long, but... Mike Bossy's name does not get the amount of respect that it deserves.
There's a few
in
of
the
them.
hockey media.
He's like the Doug
Bossy.
There's a
one.
few, but Bossy just doesn't. People rhyme off even like Yzerman and other guys, and it's like Mike Bossy doesn't get mentioned. But if you look at the stats, he's in there. No one ever rhymes his name off with the top.
It's because they didn't. They didn't get the same long career like. He's played 752 games. Bobby Orr only played 657. I always think it's crazy we don't talk about Peter Stastny, who actually I think in the 80s, in the decade of the 80s, was the guy with the most points.
Yep,
he had the most points for that entire 10 years. I'm pretty sure was not Gretzky. I believe,
and that was Gretzky's heyday, like in the 80s.
Yeah.
In early 90s, honorable mention, and no one includes them in top 10 lists now. Both Alexander McGillney and Teemu Selanne.
That's true. Paul Kariya,
and nobody ever mentions them. Wasn't that like a 70 goal? Two of them in one season had 70s plus goals.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like Teemu, did he win the Rocket twice or 3 times? And now when people are talking about top 10 goal scorers, he's not even mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, that was quite the,
Yeah, I like this stuff. I find this stuff.
But these guys,
find it
like
super
Jay, you were talking
interesting.
about, like Mike Bossy only playing 700 and something games there. Like he played when it was a jungle out there on the ice. Like
exactly.
It's not the structured play that you see now.
Well, that's
right?
So
Phil,
to back you up, Tyson. To back you up, Tyson. Goals per game, all time. Number 1, Mike Bossy.
See, I'm telling you, and he fought for every one of those. They were not gimmies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Nylander's on a heater this year, and he's had like 12 breakaways somehow. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And scored like on 8 of 12 breakaways. It's
insane.
Year, Mike Bossy fought for every one of those. Like it was rough out there,
Yeah. Man, it's crazy how many breakaways Nylander has. I think he has more than that. Like he gets 4 or 5 a game right now. It's crazy.
Oh, it's insane. It's like Berube's been commenting about it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the clock here, boys, so we better move her along. But I'm hoping you guys are more well read on this than I am. I keep getting it in the peripheral vision here and all this stuff, and we're about as far East Coast as you can get away from Vancouver. But what the heck is going on in Vancouver with JT Miller and Pettersson and the Canucks organization? There's trade rumors, and then there's not, and then there's a rumor Miller said he wants to be traded, and then he tells the media that I didn't say I want to be traded. I love it in Vancouver, and I blah blah. Well, what's true? What's not? What's happening here?
They even held him off the ice, I think, the other night because they had a trade pending with the Rangers, didn't they not? And then that fell through
or something.
And that would be a time back.
That's the rumor.
Yeah.
And they're on quite a losing skid here too, while all this is going on.
Both of them. Rangers and Vancouver. Vancouver, especially since we're talking Vancouver, yeah. Yeah, no, it's not good there at all.
So does anybody have the Spark Notes version on this for what?
No one really knows what's going on in the room from what I've heard, but it's been ongoing since I think it might go back to COVID, if I'm not mistaken. They talked about it but like all the pros that talk about it that I listen to, like they're like, you play in a room with 25, 26 guys. He said, you're not going to like everybody. So he said, there's always rooms that I've been in where there's been tension between 2 guys. But he said, the team knows that. So they just kind of separate them, keep them in their different groups and do their different things. But when it gets into the public eye, this is what happens. And it turns into a mess, right? But he said, like pretty much every team has situations like this.
There's also this aspect for me of there's a lot of us that can work with people that we don't, you know what I mean? Like it's not like you got a dislike for somebody, but maybe you don't click with.
Mm-hmm.
And you figure it out because it's your job. The 3 of us don't get paid $8 million a season to play a sport.
Yeah.
And you can't seem to get along with the guy in the locker room that they sat just as far apart as possible.
Mm-hmm.
To the point of like someone's got to get traded or both got to get traded or what. But how come there's more trade talk now? And we don't know why, Like nobody knows why.
No.
They just don't get along. Like it's that bad.
But
it seems like the rumor mill isn't on Pettersson. It's on Miller.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, Miller has a history with this kind of stuff. Like he can be a very, we'll say polarizing player, I guess, in the room, I guess, as well. And what is he, 31? So he's getting up there in his career. But in terms of hockey,
he is 31, yeah.
And he's been with 4 teams, or this would be his 4th team, I think. And all 3 teams previous, he's left on, I wouldn't say bad terms, but things were just kind of.
It wasn't rosy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Something's up there because when he's healthy, aside from this season, is he not like a pretty solid, dependable 40 goal scorer?
Oh center? Man, he's a like an ice tilter when he's on. But when he's off, this is what you get.
Yeah,
Man.
he.
It's almost not worth the risk, eh? You know what I mean? Like it's
high risk, high reward is what it is. Because when he's good,
he's had 3 30-goal seasons. One of them was 37 goals with Vancouver. That was last year. His first 100-point season, hit 103 points. And so, yeah, he was always kind of on track to be a 20-goal scorer, 30-goal scorer.
So if he had a 100-point season last year for the Leaf guys, that's better than Marner, because Marner's never had a 100-point, and we all go on about him, right? So that just kind of shows what kind of ice tilter he is, right?
Yeah, that's fair, Phil.
Or
but he's at the point now. Like, I mean, they're not gonna. Pettersson's supposed to be part of that young core of Hughes, Pettersson, Besser,
who are going to be good. By the way, they're fun to watch.
Demko, yeah, right. So they're gonna keep. They're gonna keep with those guys. Like, they're not gonna, like, they're gonna get Miller will be the guy to go.
Oh yeah.
But
it's just to find a suitor.
Yeah.
And when you get a contract like that, and the way the cap structures and everything are structured in the NHL, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah. So have you guys, and we got I don't know if he's listened to Spit and Chicklets this week, but of all things, the Biz was on vacation out west. Did you hear this?
No.
So he's out to dinner with a bunch of hockey guys, and he said, I'm not going to lie to you. He said, bless them, but all they wanted to do was talk hockey, and I'm in Vancouver, and they're talking about JT Miller. And he's like, I talk about hockey all day long. I just want to eat. Can we talk about something else? I'm out with the boys. And he said, no sooner did we finish the conversation, I excused myself. I went to the washroom in this real nice restaurant. I walked around the corner. There's the owner of the Canucks. So he asks Biz about the JT Miller situation and what would he do if he were him. No joke.
Yes, sir.
And he said, here, it's like, I don't want to be talking about JT Miller. And now the owner of the team is asking me, so what would you do about Miller? Yeah. But he said, like, you do not, he said, I wouldn't trade him. He said, he's a player that when he's good, he's good. He said all the things that Phil basically just said. No joke. And he said, what happens is if you trade him now just to temporarily patch something in your locker room because it's a bit of a headache and I want him out of here, he said there would be teams come July 1st would kill for him.
Oh, yeah.
If you just let him go. He said, like, if I, do not take, he said teams might be scared, but he is worth something. He is not worth a first rounder and a prospect defenseman or something. Like, he's worth more than that. So you got to hold out.
You need
to get player. You need some return on him. You need another roster player or multiple picks or something. Do not just get rid of him because you have a headache now. Yeah.
Yeah, you need at least a roster player in a first rounder, I would say, and maybe a B level prospect if that's coming for like a player of that caliber.
At least.
And the term that he's on too, right? So he has a decent contract at a good term. So,
but I mean, man, I also wouldn't be shocked if he got traded tomorrow and it was for a sandwich. Like, oh, well, I guess they're done. Yeah. Yeah, sandwich and a used puck bag. Yeah.
Of trades, bit of breaking news here. Do we do that? Are we doing breaking news?
Do.
Pierre LeBrun still being worked on, but sounds like a 3-team deal involving Taylor Hall is being worked on. Believe Carolina is involved. Stay tuned.
For
4 minutes ago.
TJ Miller?
Taylor Hall.
Yeah, but TJ, like, is this the Vancouver situation?
JT.
Like one of the three, sorry, JT.
Well, he's not saying that, but it's like,
okay.
I wonder.
I heard Taylor Hall rumors before.
Yeah, he's been on the trade block a little bit.
He's a journeyman now, right? Like,
because
I never dreamt that for him when he came into the league, but that's it's becoming. Yeah, he's everywhere.
He's with Chicago right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he just came back too, I think.
Yeah, but he's been injured most of the season, I believe. Has he not been? Or a good chunk of it?
It was a decent chunk of it, I think.
Yeah, he missed a bunch of it because I've seen them play Colorado a few times.
I was going to say, he was not
in the lineup.
But I know there's been some talk about moving some of the guys out of there, like Taylor Hall and those guys as veteran and as
player for Bedard. They need a massive refresh there.
Yeah.
Something's not clicking. There's good names there, and something's not clicking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make sense that Foligno and Bertuzzi and Hall to flank Bedard, and you just still can't seem to get in. Like, and who knew Peter Mrazek could play like that? So, not me.
Yeah.
So, they got some guys up front, but they got nothing in the back end to help them.
No,
to my knowledge,
no,
at all,
there's
anyway.
I'm wondering if Colorado's going to be in on this trade because what's his name? Kyle Davidson has been at the last 3 Avs games.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see. Anyways,
would Colorado and Chicago be in the same division? Or
they are? Yep.
So interdivision trade, that'd be interesting. That could be.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be
spicy meatball.
It could be. Yeah.
And Dubas in Pittsburgh has everything for sale right now, so it also could involve them, man.
Yeah.
They want to move
all over the. I don't blame them. I like him.
Oh, me too. But
he's fun to watch.
Carlson hasn't been the same since his Ottawa days. Since he blew his Achilles out.
No,
yeah,
but he's still better than most. But I don't. The return doesn't match the contract is my issue.
That's
right now. It's going to expire. But.
Well, man, everyone said that when he signed the thing. And
I know. Like he's still better than half of the defensemen in the league.
Yeah. He's the type of guy though you got to
overpay for what he's producing.
He's the type of guy you got to put him on the team where he is the man. Because it didn't work with Brent Burns out in San Jose, and now it's not working with Pittsburgh and what's his name there? Not Tanev. Why can't I think of Pittsburgh's defenseman?
Letang?
Yeah, that guy. I don't know why I drew a blank there, but I did. And me a Pens fan too.
Yeah. I was gonna say, aren't you like you're a 2-teamer, aren't you?
Well, I'll explain this just real quick. Back when the Leafs absolutely sucked, because I've been a lifetime Leafs fan, right? I needed a playoff team because I just didn't want to stop watching hockey when the playoffs were over. And so Pittsburgh had just gotten Marc-Andre Fleury, and I was always kind of a Flower fan. And then along comes Malkin and Crosby, so it was like, okay, let's cheer these young guys on and see what happens. And sure enough, they turned into what they were, and the dynasty happened. And so, yeah, they were my playoff team.
Well, they were all, like, I swear, half that team that year, Phil, had just played for World Juniors, right? And we all watched them.
Well, exactly.
And now they're all called up, and we knew all these names watching.
And I was still playing hockey
Pittsburgh
myself
those 2 years.
So, I was really invested in I won't say idolizing or anything like that, but you know what I mean? Like I had really favorite players that I really, really watched. And Flower was one of them for sure. So.
Yeah. Yeah, some rough years there for Leafs fans there, but
oh man,
little 5-6.
Were they ever lean?
Yikes!
It's pretty bad. Kessel, his favorite hot dog shack on the street.
My wife loves Phil Kessel. It's insane.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. We're I don't know how long we want to go here, but I did want to get this is coming up soon. Maybe we can end on this one. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the Four Nations tournament. It's coming up soon. I think like less than a month away or a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's the end of February, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will say I've seen a lot of mixed reviews. There seems to be a lot of people who don't care about it. They're not excited. They're just like, oh, I wish they would just let the like, why are they doing this? Like, it's not the Olympics, blah, blah, blah. I am not in that camp. I am really excited for it. Yeah, I understand technically because, Russia's not there. It's not best on
best. It's not best on best. It's not best on best.
Because Dreisaitl's not going to be there. Pasternak's not going to be there.
Well, right. But I mean, there is 4 teams that will have their best players, and
they're the 4 best hockey nations right now. Oops. Maybe Czechia, but I don't know what they have at the NHL level right now. The juniors, they're really.
But man, they're only the 4 best teams because Russia doesn't have a team.
Well, and that's the problem. It's hard to have 5 teams in a tournament. So if Russia was there, by default, you could probably put Czechia or put a European team together that gets your Pasternaks and Draisaitl's and all those guys together.
Well, and that's all fair. My way of coming at it is we've not had the Olympics for so long. I haven't seen any kind of, international hockey representation.
Oh, man, I agree. But they're pulling this right before we get the Olympics back. Like, we're going to get it back, and now you're...
But, I mean, that's what, next year? Or 2 years?
No, it's next year.
Or is it next year?
Next year?
Yeah, it's next year.
I just, the time is ticking on Crosby. We missed out on a couple of Olympics, and we're going to get this at least. We're going to get Crosby, McDavid. Their careers are going to overlap enough that they'll be able to play some international stuff together.
Up the middle, we are deep.
What's that?
I said up the middle, we are deep.
Canada's deep. I
wouldn't be surprised if they'll probably play McKinnon on the wing. I'm assuming he'll probably be on the wing with Crosby's line. I'm so excited. I'm so sick of the regular season grind and the stupid All-Star game and the stupid All-Star weekend. To have these guys
say what you want. Say what you want about no Team Russia. I don't got to watch Kucherov. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's true.
You what?
Drives me crazy.
The problem is, though,
yeah.
But this goes, I was going to say the problem is, but this goes for us, Tyson, as Leafs fans, with goaltenders who are iffy with the injury bug, is they get 2 weeks off to heal themselves up and get themselves.
This goes two ways.
Boss,
can I tell you my nightmare scenario?
Yes. Go ahead.
My nightmare scenario is this Four Nations Cup. So I have an asterisk on it where, so Jeremy, I'm in the middle. I'm a centrist on this one. So am I going to watch the games because I'm weirdly excited? Yeah, I'll watch the games. If Canada loses, do I care? I'm not going to lose sleep over it like I did the World Juniors. Because it just feels different. And we can talk about, there was a lot of snubs. I almost want to start the hashtag, not my team Canada. You know what I mean? A lot of snubs. And we can talk about that one. But so as a Toronto fan who has been in a drought since 1967, and we've only seen one second round in the last 20 years. Nylander's on Team Sweden, playing against Marner on Team Canada, playing against Austin Matthews on Team USA. If one of those three get hurt, the Leafs are screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Just as an example, as a Leafs fan, we're screwed. Done. You know what I mean? I can't see a recovery when you rely on your core that heavily. I could not see, as good as the Leafs have been this year, and they're looking great. Matthews goes down. Yep. And it wasn't even in a game that counted. It's not like you were, you know what I mean? You were off at this best on best, but we're missing some of the best tournament. You know what I mean? And you hurt your back again, or you...
Is the Leafs record without Matthews is pretty
decent, but you know what I'm saying. But the same can go for Jay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be his luck? And then McKinnon goes down, and
or Makar, or whoever, right?
Makar, or it's a brutal. That's my only asterisk on it, and I hope it doesn't happen.
No,
when it's an All-Star game, when's the last time anybody got hurt in an All-Star game? They're out there having fun, you know.
Oh, we lost Jay,
and he'll be back.
Yeah, we lost Chief.
But that's my 2 cents on that, Phil.
I hear you, and I have the same thought process on it.
I don't. Well, is it exciting, and do I think it's good? I think at the end of things, I think it's good, but there's some very mixed reviews on this.
I think, if anything, this will help Canada figure out what they're going to do on the goaltending situation leading up to the Olympics.
Well, I think they already messed that one up a little bit. But.
Well, and that's what I mean. And if they go to this tournament and it ends up being a flop, they're going to look at it again, right?
Who do you think's the bigger snub for that on Team Canada?
Oh, Tavares.
Tavares is a bigger snub than the others?
I think so.
He's been on quite the heater this year.
Yeah. The only thing going against Tavares, but I mean, he's a versatile player, is the fact he's a centerman, and Canada is so deep down the center, right?
So deep. Who do you cut instead?
Yeah. But I mean,
honestly,
at the same time, Tavares is one of the best face-off, if not the best face-off man in the NHL this year. And so if you're playing the gold medal game and you got a defensive zone up a goal, 30 seconds left in your own end, who do you want taking that face off? You want JT, right?
You could have fourth lined him.
Mm-hmm.
And then can you imagine a world where John Tavares is your fourth line center and you're throwing him out for face-offs? Like,
well, that was kind of the predictions leading into this thing. They were down the middle. They had McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, and Tavares. That was your four, like in order, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, right? And they were saying, like, in what world do we live in that Crosby and Jonathan Tavares are your third and fourth line centers? But that's...
And I heard a lot of kind of grieving about the goalie situation.
Yes.
Was like arguably Logan Thompson, right? Like,
yeah. I don't know enough. I haven't followed him at all this year, so I really don't know where he's at.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah. I know they went, I mean, and they made this decision quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm. But like I say,
I don't know.
If it all goes upside down this year on them, at least this isn't the Olympics. You know what I mean? And they can say, okay, next year is the Olympics, and then let's reset things in the back end. Like, no problem with the defense. Like they should have, if not the best defensive core right there with the Americans, right? So it's if this isn't an America-Canada final, then I mean, not to put anything against Sweden or Finland. They're going to be strong teams, but I don't think they're going to be what the Canadians and Americans are.
No, I think Sweden might surprise us.
So they should.
Or they might.
They're
fast.
Oh yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to all four teams are going to be really good. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
We lost Jeremy.
Yeah,
they've lost me. We've lost Cameron. We've never lost Jeremy. So we're going to wrap up here, I guess. But Phil, any games you're keeping your eye on this upcoming week?
Just let me look here real quick. I never got a chance to actually look, even though this was my idea.
I know when this airs tonight is Toronto's in Ottawa. And while Toronto's been good, Ottawa seems to have their number. There's just something about...
Well, Ottawa's on a heater, too. I think they got beat the other night, but like January's been good for them. Like they got themselves back in a playoff spot. And
man, Brady Tkachuk's a pest. Oh my gosh. He's so good at it. It's frustrating.
He's one of those players, you hate him when you play against him, but you love him on your team.
Yeah, fair enough.
So what's... Yeah, like I say, Toronto should that should be a good game tomorrow night. Like it's both teams are competing for something, right? Toronto's trying to stay first in the division. Ottawa's fighting for the playoff spot. So I mean, it's first time in like this could rejig the whole battle of Ontario, right? So
yeah. Also tomorrow, which will be today when this airs, but Colorado and Boston.
Oh yeah.
And also same time, man. I can't watch two games at once, but New Jersey and Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out west, the Golden Knights play the Stars. That should be a good game.
That would be a good tilt.
That's on Tuesday night. And then the Wild are playing the Leafs coming up this Wednesday night too. That should be a good game because the Wild have a good team this year. I think they lead their division.
That will be a fun one.
Could be Flowers' last game in Toronto too. If he plays.
It honestly might be, yeah. It honestly might be. But yeah, those are some ones to watch. Columbus is somehow, it's not been good this year, but it's turning around.
They're in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and they've got Vegas later on in the week. So those are some games people should watch out for. Should be
Bruins versus Jets
should be pretty good. We'll be trying to, yeah.
And
so thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
And we'll know more next week on what all these trade rumors and stuff. And we will send out a search party for Jeremy. I have no idea what happened to him.
We got a picture of him that we can put on milk cartons.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Keep your stick on the ice.
Ciao.
Hey, folks. Jeremy here with an editor's note. I've never done an editor's note before on any of our podcasts, but I just had to say how insane it was that I lost my internet connection right when the news about Mikko Rantanen being traded to Carolina was coming out. Now, I referred to a tweet from Pierre LeBrun a few minutes earlier, and it turned out that deal was involving trading Rantanen. So we'll probably talk about it on a future episode. But I just had to say how disappointed I was to not be in our first hockey podcast recording while this trade, one of the biggest trades in Avalanche franchise history, one of the bigger trades in the last, I don't know, recent times, but it's a big one, and we missed it. Oh dear, it would have been fun. Anyways, just wanted to mention that, so thanks for listening. Sorry boys, I ruined your good outro, and we'll try to fix her on the next one. See you next time.